Today I am controlling grey squirrels. My trail camera is just starting to pick up a little bit of activity, so I've come down here to go and control them. The rifle that I'm using today is the Epic 2 Lite in sub 12 177, and it is currently shooting JSB 10.34 grain pellets. On top is a Hik Alpex LITE 4K, and for a sub 12 this is an absolutely perfect scope for the job. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get into the woods, which is to my right hand side, just where my feeder is. Don't want to make too much more noise. Get into the hide and we'll try and get some squirrels. I'm now set up in my hide. I'm now just going to wait for these squirrels to hopefully come in. I just need to get a rifle into the magazine, and a problem that I had was when I came here, there's been squirrels showing up on my trail cam. However, when I've come this morning, the feeder is completely empty. I don't know if squirrels are going to come in today, but I'm going to sit out and wait because I'm here now. I want to see if I can actually try and get some. Not the best start to the day with the feeder being empty, but I am quite hopeful that it was recent and squirrels might still come into this feeder. So I am going to wait out and hopefully we'll be able to get some with this Epic 2.
I was actually quite surprised. I haven't had to wait too long at all for the first appearance of the day. Seeing as the feeder was completely empty, this was not the start that I expected. So this is going to be the first time using the Alpex Lite, and I want to get off to a good start. Unfortunately, because this squirrel has took me by surprise, I wasn't quite set up and comfortable. It needed a quick follow-up shot, but I was very fortunate that I managed to get that second shot. Not the best start, but we are off the mark. So I hope things improve as the day goes on.
Well, we've got one in the bag now. Not the cleanest shot. The first one I pulled it, but when it was on the ground, second shot, managed to quickly reload and managed to get a decent second shot off just to finish it off. But yeah, the first shot was my fault and I pulled it. But we are off the mark.
With one in the bag, we're now looking for squirrel number 2. This has only been 10 minutes, so it seems like the feeder has just run out. I have put just a handful of peanuts into the feeder, just so if any squirrels do come in, they do have a peanut just to munch on, and that gives me the opportunity to actually line up and get a shot. So with a second squirrel coming in, I'm actually feeling a little bit more optimistic.
Well, that was more like it. Boom. Straight down that one.
That most definitely was more like it. And again, I've only waited about 20 minutes and another squirrel has come in. That was definitely not what I was expecting when I arrived here with that empty feeder. I'm just hoping the day is going to continue just like this. Well, we are certainly off the mark now. That's 3 squirrels in the bag, And not long after that, another squirrel has appeared. I've had to wait a little bit longer than usual for this one, about 25 minutes, but that's still really quick. But this one is messing about in the tree. However, if it does stay there long enough, I'm certainly sensing an opportunity. Off it goes down the side of the hill. Lots of kicking and thrashing, that's to be expected, nice clean headshot. And at this point I decide I'm going to go collect them four. This way I can just have a little quick stretch of my legs, get these squirrels out of the way, don't want them scaring any other squirrels that may come in. Then we'll get back into my hide and see if we can get some more. I'm pretty happy with how this day is going so far.
Considering that there was no feed actually in my feeder, they completely emptied it. I'm actually quite surprised that I've actually managed to bag quite a few squirrels, and there's still time yet to try and get some more. So I am looking pretty hopeful now, because as we go into the afternoon, I should start seeing a few more. That was not what I expected.
And just like that, 10 minutes after collecting those last four, another squirrel has come in. I think collecting them was certainly the right choice. And this one has just come bounding in. A little bit of a dramatic dive, but another perfect headshot. And that's another squirrel in the bag. But then I've just had to wait about 2 hours for the next one. This was really testing my patience. But sometimes that's just the way squirrel hunting goes. Sometimes you might think that I'm a little bit slow taking my shots, but you just have to remember that I am shooting a sub 12 air rifle, so you got to make sure that you are exactly shooting where you are aiming, because they are certainly less forgiving than a full powered air rifle. Just hit them in the right spot and it's lights out. This one's a bit of a bleeder.
It might not be the coldest day, but even then it is good just to have a little bit of soup. And today's minestrone soup. It's just a little bit of pleasure. It really is nice when you are in this really cold hide.
Seven squirrels down, looking at a possible 8. I'm getting ready to leave, so I'm hoping to get possibly one more. And then out of nowhere, another squirrel appears. I now have 2 squirrels in the frame. I now have to make the decision, do I go for the one in the tree or do I go for the one on the feeder? And seeing as it's picked up a peanut, that's the obvious choice. But will I get a chance on the squirrel up in the tree? I'm looking for it, but I can't see it. I can't see it anywhere. It seems like I've just missed the opportunity. However, just a couple minutes later, I do notice a bit of movement, and I believe this is the same squirrel. It was probably just taken aback by that shot. It's hung around in the area, and now it looks as if it's coming back. This time I'm going to be a little bit quicker. Again, if I see my opportunity and it's still enough, then I'm going to take that shot. A bit of thrashing just to end it, and I'm pretty happy with how the day's gone. It started off pretty bad where I got there, no feed in the feeder. I was not feeling optimistic at all whatsoever. However, I have stuck it out for quite a long time today, and I have managed to get these 9. So I'm actually really happy with how the day's actually gone.
Well, the day didn't pan out exactly how I had imagined. I arrived here, there was no feed whatsoever in the feeder, so I was a little bit disheartened there, and I thought, should I go home? But I thought, I'm here now, I've travelled, let's sit it out and see if I can actually get some. And I was really surprised I actually managed to get some. I just put a handful of peanuts into the feeder, just so that if any squirrels do come in, they do have something to grab hold of, sit still, and then for me to take a shot. So I was actually quite happy to bag these 9 squirrels. The good thing as well, this was the first time using the Epic 2 Lite, and I've got to say, this thing is tiny. Not only tiny, it's so lightweight, which I was not used to. On top as well is the Hik Alpex LITE. This is perfect for this rifle, a sub 12 hour rifle. That's pretty much what it's designed for. So it's kind of like a match made in heaven. Really good to use, and everything seemed to go really well. Oh, and I didn't show you as well, the soup that I had before, the minestrone soup, well, that ended up on the floor. Yep, I spilt all of it, so I haven't had any dinner whatsoever. That was a bit disappointing. Going to leave it there. If you did enjoy this video, please consider subscribing to the channel, and if you want to see exclusive content, a lot of things which you won't see on YouTube, check the video description and check out my Patreon. There is a lot more things on there which won't be allowed on YouTube. Anyway, cheers guys, see you on the next one.